or this thing, right, can it be find one stable one or find 2 to 3 Mike, can you see us?
Yep, I can see you.
Okay, good. All right.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
So we are sort of ready, and later we'll just hand over to you and see how we can start this whole event.
Sure. I'm still accepting people in.
Okay, great. So we just wait, right?
So probably a minute or more, and then I'll do. No, then we'll start.
Sure. So meanwhile, are they able to see us or are they able to hear us?
They can hear. You should be able to.
Okay, okay.
If you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up emoji in the chat, or you can switch on your video and just wave to us. That'll be very helpful to us. Yeah, thanks, Laura.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, we have altogether 34 of us here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think it's a good crowd. We can start.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes, step in. Okay. Right, hello everyone. I'm Mike. If you're not familiar with me, I've been running Trainer Synergy with him for the past close to 2 years. Thanks, Albert. We got professional. I also use the mic so that you can hear me clearly as well. Yeah, so it's been some time since we last all met up, and it's very unfortunate that we can't be physically meeting one another here today. But with technology, we have Zoom that can help us bring us all of us together to keep learning, especially in these times where most of us are very, most of us are affected. Even for us, training has been affected, coaching has been affected, but we have moved some of that online. But more importantly, what we're going to go through today is about SkillsFuture training courses. Right? Some of you may have questions like why are some training courses that are funded by government, why are some not eligible? And then you ask questions like what kind of funding am I qualified for the courses that I create, and what could be the potential problems that I would face when applying for course funding. Right? We did something. Okay. Somebody in my room to mute their laptop. Is there feedback? Is the echo very strong? Okay, let me see what I can do. Is this better now? Is the echo still very strong? Okay, let me see what I can do. Any more echo?
Now it's louder, much louder.
Yeah, I think the echo is from Roland's face.
From us, is it? Maybe. Softer, softer, softer. Okay, is it better now? Okay, all right. All right, so I think with that, I will just let Stephanie introduce herself first, then after that followed by me.
All right. Hi again. I'm Stephanie. Actually, I have been in this consultancy for coming to 10 years already. So a lot of people ask me how I get started, into this business. Actually, about 10 years ago, I joined a MNC, and actually I helped them to become an ATO, in-house ATO, because at that time we have 300 over staff strength. And at that time, WDA, now known as SSG, the WSQ is just launched. So the officer actually came to us and asked whether we want to become an ATO. Then from then, that is how I get started, to become quite familiar with the ATO process. Along the way, we go through a lot of audit, and to a certain extent, they say that, oh, actually, you are very good in all the operations, and perhaps maybe we can skip one audit. So that's where, if I'm familiar with the operation, then perhaps out there, a lot of people also need help. So that is, I think that perhaps I may want to start my consultancy business. And so that is where I start to have more companies to become an ATO. So from then till now, beside become an ATO, there will be other training, consultancy advice that I will provide to a lot of my clients, be it WSQ or non-WSQ. Later in the session, we will talk a lot more about what will be the difference between the WSQ and the non-WSQ. Yeah, so generally this will be my background. Yeah.
So maybe I'll take this opportunity to share a little bit about myself before we share more information about what non-WSQ and WSQ courses are all about. So I'm Roland Ang. So actually I'm the founder of Wisdom Academy. For Stephanie, she is running Zinc Ocean for consultancy services. Whereas for Wisdom Academy itself is an approved training organization. So with that, we actually run WSQ and non-WSQ courses. And from there, that's where we hope that from that, we can actually help corporate and individual to be able to continue to upgrade themselves. And of course, our focus in this area is really in terms of media and social media and video marketing. So this is where our WSU courses able to help this company or individual to take advantage of this government training grant so that not only they learn, but at the same time, they really able to have very practical application so that, for example, we have WSQ course that actually can help them to produce a series of videos. And these videos is something that they can use it either for their training purposes, e-learning purposes, or marketing purposes. So with that, we are actually very excited for the past several years to able to serve our client that way. And also because of that, we are also very, very passionate about training. And we understand that actually to able to become an ATO or to able to develop your own non-WSQ courses, it is not as easy as it seems. And that's where we have a lot of experience in helping not only just ourselves, but also our client to take advantage, to leverage on the government training grant to develop non-WSQ courses and WSQ courses. So we hope that through tonight, whatever we're sharing, it can be something that you can take away so that you can consider how you can leverage on it and then to further expand your own training services. So right now, we are very excited because in order to make this fruitful, we have Eugene Sia, all right, to come in and then to so-called have a good session, and she will be our moderator, and so that we can make this evening, all right, as informative as possible. So now with this, let's welcome Eugene Sia.
Social distancing.
Okay, yes.
Okay, first of all, I understand that because of a lot of Zoom being used nowadays,
yes.
so a lot of people dress like that, you know.
This is cool.
Yeah, I'm noticing that a lot of Facebook, a lot of people.
Yes, right.
Even
That's right.
Newscaster, Mediacorp also. So just
Half.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
but-
cool. This is cool.
Okay, back to this. So, okay, thanks for your introduction. And first of all, it is very exciting because we haven't met Trainer Synergy for,
That's
for
right.
months and months.
That's right.
And then because of COVID-19, it's even more difficult to meet now. Yeah, and now I'm in their studio. Let me just blow their trumpet a bit. I'm not from their company, so whatever I blow is totally unbiased. Zing Media, right?
Zing
Yeah,
Media.
this studio is amazing. A lot of us should actually check it out. There's green screen, there's books. Inside got words or not? Okay.
Real books, yeah, real books.
A lot of people put, IKEA. A lot of big books, yeah. So I think later we talk about some opportunity that trainers can, how they can use this studio as well, right?
Sure,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, but let's stick to this topic first.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, I must confess something. I've never applied any government grant, so I suppose that makes me very unbiased as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So can you help us understand what kind of government grants are there anyway for trainers? Yeah.
Right. So actually in the market, there are a lot of training grant, you know. I believe many of us may have heard of things like, for example, Skills Development Fund, Enhanced Training Support for SME, Mid-Career Enhanced Subsidy, Workfare Training Support, Absentee Payroll, and so on and so forth. There are a lot. So you may be wondering, okay, so many funds, but how do we actually apply for all this? Basically, for all these training grants that we look from the screen, right? Actually, all these are actually supported by SkillsFuture Singapore. So a lot of us may be already quite familiar who is SkillsFuture Singapore. But just in case you wonder, all right? So actually, SSG, SkillsFuture Singapore, is under MOE since 2016, all right? And the whole initiative of this SkillsFuture is to actually to help Singaporeans, you know, to have the opportunity to upgrade their skills, all right? So if we look at this, it says it's provide for Singaporean. So most of the grant, I would say, is actually targeting for Singapore citizen or SPR. So we will cover a little bit more later about this funding issue, all right? But basically what SSG is providing is that they want to help Singapore citizens to have a better skill, and because of this, they are giving subsidy for them to cover the training expenses, all right? And this is throughout for their lifelong learning. So meaning is that no matter how old are you are maybe 30, 40, 50, or even 60, you are being covered under the training subsidy, the training grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I go back to the previous slide? They can see the slide, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, okay, I must confess that I'm not very familiar with all this. Right. So for trainers, okay, let's give a few categories now. So let's say a company has a sole proprietorship.
Right.
Okay, so a one-man show essentially. Which one can help the person? Yeah.
So let's say, for example, you are a sole proprietor. So it depends on whether your sole proprietor, is it registered? Is it a registered entity, all right? Or you are maybe just a freelancer, all right? So if let's say, for example, you have registered your company, your entity, all right? You can actually apply under company-sponsored funding, which is under the Enhanced Training Support for SME scheme, all right? Yes. And let's say, for example, if you are just an individual, you did not register your company, all right? You do not register your entity. Just being an individual, if you sign up, you can actually tap on the different type of funding, depends on your nationality, whether it is Singapore citizen, SPR, or foreigner, and depends on your age group. So for instance, let's say, for example, Singapore citizen, age 40 years and above.
44.
So you qualified. So you qualified for the Mid-Career Enhanced Subsidy. All right?
So it must be between what and what again?
As long as you are Singapore citizen above 40 years, regardless of how high or how low your salary.
So 40 all the way to 99, for example.
Yes, lifelong learning, you are right. Yeah. Provided, you know, the skills that you're going to take up is something that will help you in your workplace. Because SSG actually focus on workforce, right? So this is something that it has to help you in terms of, let's say, if you is a mid-career, you want to change halfway, you want to change your career, and you want to equip new skills, or you want to deepen your skill in a certain industry.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are the skills that it will be covered under SSG.
Okay, no, what I'm think, from my understanding of this phrase, it means that I want to transit from an engineer to a trainer, let's say, then I can apply for this mid-career enhanced subsidy.
Yes.
But if I'm already a trainer, then I'm not changing it to anything else. You get what I mean?
Deepen your skill.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
So, for example, what could I possibly learn? Is it like, for example, NLP or?
Possible.
Yeah, okay.
Your service skill,
Right.
business management skill, communication skill, all the soft skills that is related to your job.
And all these are on the website, right? The
Yes.
skillsfuture.com.
Yes.
Something else, yeah.
Okay.
Then
You
that
can
will
look
be
under
the-
Training Exchange.
Yeah.
Training Exchange is a portal where if, let's say, for example, our courses are approved by SSG, our courses will be featured in the Training Exchange. So this is also how the public get to know your course.
Oh,
Right.
Training Exchange.
Yes.
Wow, very
Right.
cool name. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me summarize a little bit. If they registered their company as a sole prop, then go for the enhanced training support for the SME.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
So all
yes.
these different funding, it also depends on what kind of courses. All right. It depends on what kind of courses. So in the next few slides, we will talk about the different type of courses.
Good,
Yeah, the different type of courses will be entitled eligible for different type of funding.
Okay, that one is talking into detail. Let me just paint a big picture. So currently, I think we have about 20-something trainers, and from running Trainer Synergy for about 4 years, I can roughly guess that they range from the sole proprietor, right, and the freelancer, to someone who actually registered a private limited company with some associate trainers, for example. Okay, so let's talk about this mid-range first. You know, any particular grants from them? Is it the same one, the enhanced training support?
Yes.
Right.
Enhanced training support is meant for people who have company. So you register under your company. That means you register the course using your company name. We call it company sponsor. All right. So for this group, let's say you want to sponsor using your company to sponsor yourself or your staff. All right. That will be under the enhanced training support. So this is regardless of how old is the learner. It can be a 25 years old, it can be maybe 20 years old, 30 years old, doesn't matter, as long as it's company sponsored. And it must be a Singapore citizen or SPR.
Okay.
All right? So let's say, for example, if you're an individual above 40 years old,
Yes.
then we'll be looking at mid-career enhanced subsidy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the company wants to train for other company, not receive funding to be trained.
Yes.
Any grants to help that? That means, let's say my client, so for example, I'm in the mid-range category. I have associate trainers, and then I run a private limited company. And now my client asks me, hey, can I claim any grants so they cannot afford my full fee?
Yes.
You know, any particular grants I can tap on?
Yeah, so this will be the list of grant. So, okay, maybe I will just quickly go through some of these grants.
Okay.
We talk about the enhanced training support, we talk about the mid-career. What is workfare training support? Workfare training support is also meant for Singapore citizens, aged 35 years and above, but your salary has to be below 2,000.
Okay.
So this group of people will fall under workfare training support. And if your course is a WSQ course, and it will be funded up to 95%. So which means the learners only need to pay the 5%.
Right.
Yeah, and then we followed by absentee payroll. This is something to cover for the employer who
Okay.
send their staff for the training because they are not at work. So there's an opportunity cost.
Okay.
So government actually on top of the training grant, they do also provide absentee payroll funding. That will be based on some calculation based on the hourly rate of the salary.
Right.
All right, capped at 750 per hour.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. And training allowance is meant for individuals. Skill Future Credit, I believe a lot of people are very familiar with this. All right, and all Singapore citizens 25 years and above, you should have already gotten your 500. Some may have already utilized, some may have not. But good news is this coming October, government is top up another 500. Yeah, all right. So this is something that we can use it to upgrade ourselves. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Skill Future Qualification Award is for individuals who have actually attained a WSQ qualification and you can get extra 200 or 400 cash. It depends on the level of the qualification, whether is it certificate, is it diploma.
Oh,
Some
okay.
may go up to, if you complete a WSQ diploma, you may achieve $1,000 award from SSG. All right.
Okay.
Training commitment award, that is more for, let's say, for example, if you are under the WTS, the Workfare Training Support Scheme, okay, if you are the recipient of the WTS, and upon completing of 2 WSQ courses, you will be able to get $200 extra from the SSG on top of the training grant.
And is this continuous? If I get another 2, is it another? Yes.
No,
No.
it is actually 1 year capped at 400. So
Okay.
for every 2 module you complete, you get 200,
Okay.
and you maximum you can only get 400 per year. Yeah,
So sad. Okay, never mind.
it's a good reward, you know.
So
for
you said you
people.
can take 4 courses.
Per year.
right?
If you know, you can take more. You can take 6 courses, 8 courses, but you know the training commitment award is only capped at 400 per year. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
So far, okay, just now what I heard very strongly is that once you are a WSQ approved training provider, then you can get your client to apply for all these grants.
Yes.
Okay, so the obvious question now is how to become a WSQ provider.
Okay.
Yes.
So actually for SSG, there are 2 types of courses. All right. First type is WSQ. Second type is a non-WSQ. All right. So for WSQ, it has different level. So you got certificate, you got diploma, the different level. All right. And for non-WSQ, is certifiable and non-certifiable. So we will talk about it a little bit more. So what is the difference between the two? Okay. So how you identify whether your course should be WSQ or non-WSQ? It depends on whether the course is it under the skills framework. All right. So SSG actually have 33 skills framework. So if the area of training falls under any one of these skills framework, then you are one step closer to become a WSQ provider, right? And also the difference between the two is that WSQ courses, you have to follow a certain skill standards. Whereas non-WSQ, you don't really have to follow the skill standards, but your course must have a very clear learning outcome. All right? And for WSQ, there will be assessment required in order to attain to tap on the funding. You need to be competent in your assessment. That means during your assessment, instead of saying you passed or you failed, we say competent or not yet competent. So I believe trainers who are ACTA trained, you are very familiar with C and NYC. All right, so that is the WSQ, which is assessment is required. Whereas non-WSQ, it may or may not require the assessment, which may or may not lead to a certification. For WSQ funds courses, you can tap on the funding up to 95%. That is where just now we have discussed the WTS, the mid-career enhancement. All these are actually meant for WSQ. All right. And on top of that, beside the course funding for WSQ course, you can also tap on the absentee payroll. That is meant for company sponsor, and if you are WTS holder, you can actually apply for the training allowance as well. Yeah. So on the other hand, for the non-WSQ, the difference is that the funding. So if you look at the slide, for the non-WSQ, I mentioned that course fee funding up to 95% or $2 per hour. So this is actually a very drastic difference from a 95% to a $2 per hour. So what makes a difference is that if your non-WSQ is a certifiable course, all right, you will be able to enjoy the same type of funding as the WSQ course, which can go up to 95%. Depends on the eligibility of the trainee. All right. But let's say if your WSQ course is a non-certifiable, that means you just come for the training and there's no assessment, it won't lead you to any certification, then that will be the course fee funding is $2 per hour. Yeah.
Okay, certification means like, okay, let's say I took up something called Emergenetics or DISC or Myers-Briggs, and all these, I suppose, are not WSQ courses.
Okay.
Let's assume they are not. And then and they are certifiable, so then it's up to 95%.
Okay, so just now you mentioned DISC,
Yes.
so it depends on how we actually put it across to SSG. If this is something for your personal development, right? So this will not cover under the SSG because SSG is all about workplace enhancement.
Right,
It's
okay.
to help you in terms to be a better person in your workplace.
Employee.
Yes, employee.
alright.
Okay, so it's to enhance your skill set. All right, but it's anything to do with personal development. For example, I have trainers who teach, let's say, for example, yoga.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is considered personal development, or this is something like it's a
Ah.
hobby. All right, so this will not falls under the SSG approved courses.
So let's say yoga, since we mentioned yoga, that will be $2 per hour, is it?
No.
Also no.
You will not even qualify for non-WSQ courses because as long as you want SSG to approve you, the course need to be something workplace related.
Right.
Yes.
So it's not within these two
Yes,
columns
correct.
at all.
Yeah, WSQ or non-WSQ, it has to be based on workplace skill set.
Okay, let's be devil's advocate for a while. So the WSQ related ones are very obvious, right? Like leadership, sales.
So you can
Right.
go to the
There's
SSG website. When you look at the skill framework, 33 framework, if any of your course fit into those framework, then there's a potential you can become an ATO, which is the WSQ course. Yeah.
Okay, and then on the other extreme is like yoga, baking, all that, right? So that one is definitely not within. Oh, but baking maybe.
Baking, yes. Okay, because you see, you look at your target audience, right? So let's say, for example, if my target audience are those very junior baker or someone who wants to work in the bakery,
Yes.
but I don't really have the skills, I don't have the qualification, but I want to become a baker. I want to work in this baking industry,
Okay.
right? So yes, then this is actually under the WSQ course. Yeah, let's say if certain of the skill standards is not found, that means your area of teaching, your area of training is not under the skill standard, then you can consider the non-WSQ course.
Okay, let's think about the learner first. So as a learner, if I want to learn yoga, then I look for yoga company, right? Then that is personal development. Correct?
If I want to learn yoga to make myself healthy,
Yeah.
then that is personal development.
But if now I want to learn yoga so that I can switch to become a yoga instructor. So how? Is it
Again, then that will definitely not under WSQ because WSQ don't have such a framework.
Okay.
All right, for fitness. For non-WSQ, this will really have to depend on how is your justification. Right, so you need to have very strong justification to say that this is something that the industrial will need it. Yes.
So if I just write very well to them, and then because it's the real thing, I have friends who want to switch from engineer to become yoga instructor.
Yeah.
So it becomes their new profession,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So then they have to write. It's not obvious lah. They have to write to apply lah, and then either yes or no lah.
Yes, correct. So I just
Okay.
want to emphasize is
Yes.
that for SSG approved courses, be it WSQ or non-WSQ, it has to be workplace related. It has to be workforce enhancement, right? So this is the key criteria.
Yeah.
It is very industrial-based work skill set.
Yes.
So if you talk
Industrial.
about- yes.
Meaning
That means it can contribute to the industry.
yoga is an industry, isn't it? Health and fitness industry,
Okay, so at least
wellness industry.
at least from the
Yeah.
government point of view, it's not recognized.
Really? What? No wonder our mental illness is going up. Wow. I'm going to meet my minister right now.
So in other words, right, it must grow to the extent that it's recognized that it's an industry, that you need that as a skill set.
Is it all black and white? That means there are recognized industries and anything outside that is unrecognized industry, is it?
Okay, actually, how all this came about
Yeah.
is because the government has consulted the industry expert.
And
This consultation took many, many years
okay.
in order to able to formalize a framework with a skill set very well defined. So in other words, right, for yoga to be possible, to be recognized,
Yes.
let's say even to be a SSG course,
Yes.
it must have that kind of scale.
So it's lacking the scale lah.
The scale, correct. It lacking that kind of influence or yeah, that means
I mean, that is a specific example of yoga, but I can think of many, like, you know, the MMA, Muay Thai, which I just came from today, and then all these are relating to Singapore citizens' health and wellness. So this whole industry is not recognized. That's what you're saying, right?
Health and wellness
Okay.
is deemed to be your personal development,
Okay.
right?
Okay, so let's put that aside.
Yes.
Then the baking, which you mentioned, that is recognized.
Yes.
That's the food and beverage
Yes.
industry.
That's
Yes.
right.
So if I want to be a baker or a chef or dessert, whatever, then I can apply for non-WSQ courses.
Actually, for WSQ, baking, there is under the food services. Yes.
Then I can apply lah
Yes.
for funding.
But my understanding is that this framework is like sort of closed.
No, food services there is.
Food services,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is fixed already lah. It's not dynamic, right? It's not like every year they review
Oh,
the
no,
industries.
no,
It's fixed
yeah.
already. It's
Yeah.
closed door lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only
Yeah.
recently they have actually transited their framework. So if most of us we are ACTA trained, so you know that last time we call it as competency standards. All right, that was like 10 years ago. We have already started using as a CS competency standards. For the past few years, SSG has actually trying to transit all this framework to a skill standards framework, and we call it as a TSC, technical skills competency. So some of these framework has already been transited, then that will be open for application, but some framework is still undergoing the transition. So those framework will be temporarily closed, some of them will be closed for application until when they have fully transited, then we can actually apply for it. Yeah.
How long is this process? Another 1-2 years?
It's an ongoing process.
Oh,
actually.
ongoing,
So some of
okay.
the framework has already been transited. Yeah. So if you want to find out what are the courses, what are the framework has been transited, you can actually go to the SSG website under skills framework.
Okay, so just now all these questions are relating to somebody who is trying to switch career into a yoga instructor or baker or chef. Now let's think of the company offering baking courses. Let's say my company, okay? Let's say Trainium Academy offers baking courses. Then what can I do? So get the participants to apply for these grants.
So you are saying that, let's say for example, you want to apply for the baking courses.
No, that means I am a company that actually provides baking courses. Yeah, and now I want to make sure all my participants, those who are eligible, get funding.
Okay, so
That one no problem, right?
No problem.
I just have to look at individual, whether they are Singaporean or not, and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
provided it fulfill the WSQ requirement.
So what you can say that if let's say you are already running the WSQ courses under the baking, let's say the baking courses, and if your clients are interested to send their staff or themselves for the course, yes, they can tap on the different type of funding. For example, the SME or the SMD payroll, these fundings will be available.
But what if I'm a baking company, as in I teach baking, but I'm not a WSQ course? That means under the right column.
Non-WSQ, yeah. So if you are non-WSQ, then most probably you only have $2 per hour funding.
In order to have the 95%, because
To be certifiable, which means, okay, so maybe I'll talk a little bit more about non-WSQ certifiable.
okay.
Because non-WSQ certifiable course, sorry, the mic is not doing well. Yeah, okay, let me see. Then. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. So for the non-WSQ certifiable course is that you need to get a government agency to endorse your course, all right? And then the learners have to go through the assessment. Then we will consider that as a certifiable course. So a government agency need to endorse the
Right.
course.
So
To
for
say that-
baking, let's say,
Yeah.
baking I need to apply lah, basically, and then they come and audit, let's say.
Okay, so
Yep.
let's say baking is under F&B, all right? So which government agency in Singapore actually manage the F&B industry?
Which one?
So you have to find that relevant government agency to say that, yes, actually your course is...
Is it an agro food something?
So that is where we need to go and find out, like which
okay.
agency, which government agency actually take
Okay,
care of
let's
the
name an
industry.
easier example, coding. Coding.
Yeah.
Right, everybody's learning coding. So
Yeah.
let's say my company offers coding classes. Then how do I apply such that it is certifiable? Is it by, let's say, the IDA? Is it still called IDA? Yeah.
Okay. So let's say, for example, IDA is the government authority that in charge of the technology industry. Then that is where you need to approach the relevant agency to say that, okay, I have such a course, and whether do you want to endorse my course? And then they will decide, whether is this course really good for the industry? And if they give the endorsement, then you may apply for the certifiable course under the non-WSQ. Yeah.
So you have a certificate with actually the agency CHOP.
The endorsement letter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of you may have left the room to apply already. Take action. Okay. So looks like it's very clear cut. Not very clear cut, but at least we can have some framework. Yoga is not, baking is in, and if coding, then you need to go and apply to the agency. Yeah, and of course, if you want to know what are the 33, right?
33
Then
framework.
just go to the website.
Yes.
Which is the
SSG
skills
website.
website. Yeah. And then if let's say our training company is under the 33, then can we apply to be part of the list?
Okay. So then you have to ask yourself these 3 questions to see whether your course should be falls under the WSQ or the non-WSQ. So firstly, you got to ask yourself, is your area of training covered under the skills framework? So that is where we need to go and find out the 33 framework and whether is that one of the framework that cover your area of training. The second question is to ask, does your course require assessment and lead to certification? All right. So if it is not, then most probably it will be under the non-WSQ. All right. And do you have qualified adult educators? So when we say that adult educators, it covers courseware developer, trainers, assessor, all right, if you have assessment, all right. So when we talk about qualified adult educator, qualified trainers, all right, previously we know as ACTA, now it's actually ACLP, all right. So if you want to be a WSQ course, then your trainer, your assessor, your courseware developer need to be at least ACTA trained. For a courseware developer, it has to be DACE trained. But if your course is a non-WSQ course, good news is, for now, you do not have to be ACTA trained or ACLP trained, all right? But when it comes to January 2021, if your non-WSQ course is a certifiable course, then yes, your trainer need to be at least ACTA or if not ACLP qualified. So to summarize is that if you want to be a WSQ or a non-WSQ certifiable course, your trainers, your assessor need to be ACTA trained or ACLP trained. If your non-WSQ course is non-certifiable, then your adult educators doesn't require to meet this requirement. Yeah.
Okay, let me just make sure I understand. Applying back to me again. So I'm ACTA trained, but I'm not DACE trained.
Yes.
So now, in order for my company, Trainium, to apply for WSQ approved, I need to basically cope you lah. Because you are DACE certified. Yes. Yeah, okay. Please excuse us. Okay, so, but does it mean you have to be a director of our company or?
No need.
No need, right?
No need.
So just a project fee lah.
Yes.
How much? Oh, no. Yeah, so once we pay the project fee, then I can still apply for the WSQ approved.
Yes. So for the DACE courseware developer, you do not need to be in-house. But let's say if you have an in-house, then that would be wonderful. So let's say you do not have that DACE trained courseware developer. Actually, you can work with one. That means an associate.
Yes.
All right. So then you must wondering, how would the courseware developer know how to develop my course? You know, the courseware developer may not know my trade well. So that is where the courseware developer will work with a subject matter expert.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, you are the subject matter expert, but you do not have days.
Yes.
I am the days trained person, but I am not the subject matter expert.
Okay.
So that's where we two work
Collaborate.
together.
Okay. Let's assume you have other slides to talk about working together, or we pause here.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say okay, I train a lot on sales. Okay, and let's assume sales is one of the 33. If it's not, then the government has a lot of problem.
Retail is under retail.
Okay, sales is like the foundation of everything. So if I now obviously don't have days, so I now tell you what are my usual methods for sales, right? And then now you write it into the correct certifiable format. Correct?
Okay.
Is that how it works?
For WSQ course, we have to follow the skills standards.
Okay.
All right. So the standards will spell out what is the knowledge, what is the ability, the skill set that's required. All right. So the courseware developer have to study the skill standards, and then from there, maybe we have to work together and see what kind of content to provide to meet those objectives.
Got it.
So all these objectives has to be covered. Not just in training, but also the assessment as well.
Okay.
So all has to be tested. Yeah.
So back to my sales course. So obviously, because I am not days trained, my current outline, course book, everything all don't meet the standard one. Yeah. So after going through your filter, everything now meets the standard, and then we can now submit. Correct?
Yes.
And then how long does this take?
Okay. So that one will be under the application process already.
Okay.
So, so this is the process, all right. For the WSQ course, actually to become an ATO, there's two key process, all right. So the first one is to get the company approved. So that is where your organization needs to apply for this OA application, organizational approval, all right. So we'll be looking at, let's say, for example, your financial aspect, your system capabilities, who are your trainers, courseware developers, what is your company experience and things like that. So we get a company approved, that is stage one. So after the company is approved, then we can go to stage two, which is the course accreditation.
Okay, sorry, can I pause you there for a while?
Yeah.
So, like a company of my size, let's say, which is basically one director, a few associate trainers, and it's about 5 years old. You know, is it like, does it meet the approval or not?
Okay, so that is where we now look at the key application criteria. All right. So if to become an WSQ ATO, the 5 key application criteria will be your company need to be registered. All right. You must have at least a 3 years financial statements, which means, in other words, you must be 3 years old. Yeah, if you are just like 6 months old company, then most probably you will not be qualified.
3 years old.
Yeah, you must have established system and capabilities.
What does that mean?
Okay, so because now we are actually tapping on WSQ funding, it's a government fund, public fund, right? Yeah, so we must make sure that whatever that our training delivery, it has to meet the SSG requirement, the standards.
Right.
So we must have certain SOP in place to make
So
sure
basically
that
black and white to show our SOP lah.
not just black and white lah, we have to actually do it as well. It's not just on
But that
paper.
means they will come and see how we train.
Yeah, so that is where later part, you know, there may be audit, there may be check and things like that. Yeah, so we must have established systems, all the different SOP. We know how to actually evaluate our courses, how to make sure our delivery is according to standards and things like that. And we'll be also looking at the training and assessment facilities, whether do you have the appropriate. So let's say just now we are talking about baking.
Yes.
So baking cannot be in a classroom format. Yeah, baking we need to have that baking facilities, your oven, your mixer and things like that. So you got to provide that kind of facilities.
For most others like soft skills, let's say, then the physical training assessment is basically you rent somewhere, you know, at let's say Lifelong Learning Institute. Is that considered approved or not approved?
Okay, so the training and the assessment facilities has to be conducive, all right, must be something that is suitable for your training. So if soft skill, most probably it will be a classroom style.
But I don't have to own that space, right?
You do not have to own that place, but you have to show proof that that will be
A permanent place,
location lah. Yeah, all right, because
got it.
if we are running the public courses, it cannot be in a case that I have this course coming out next month, but
1
nearer
week
to
here,
date,
and then 2
nearer
months
to
there.
date, they say, hey, the booking, no, I cannot
Yeah.
get through, and then I have to make some changes.
Okay,
then
okay.
yeah,
I run it at a void deck. No
that's
problem.
not conducive.
Yeah, I post all my website photo, all very nice one. Yeah, but then actually it's in void deck.
Okay,
So
that's not for
obviously
me.
that is the negative demonstration. Okay.
Right. Then WSQ, we will look at your qualified adult
Which is
educators.
ACTA lah.
Yeah, your CV, your certification, all these have to be submitted.
Actually, that's all right, just ACTA, right? I mean, for qualified
Not just
adult educator,
ACTA,
no?
not just ACTA, must have the relevant working experience and qualification. So if let's say baking, I cannot be asking an accountant to teach how to bake, right?
Even though I ACTA,
No.
no. Aiyo.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
Just like for us, we teach. I mean, we are ACTA. I'm an ACTA.
Yes,
trainer.
yes, yeah.
But I need to have the relevant skills, experience,
In
and credibility
media.
in terms of media.
And when we say credibility, it needs to be at least 3 years, is it? Like for example, can you 6 months ago became a filmmaker and get ACTA and still be
usually
qualified,
we will
yeah.
see at least like 3 years kind of experience because
at
like,
least,
as a trainer, you need to provide examples, you know.
track record?
Track record. Yeah,
oh.
you share your experience with
Yes.
your learners. Yeah.
Or you mean like personal case studies?
Yeah, let's say
okay,
for example,
okay.
oh, I have encountered this kind of situations, then how do you actually overcome that situation? This is
Yeah.
all your life experience that you can share with your learners. But if you are just like 6 months old in that industry, I don't think you have enough experience to share.
Yeah. Let me share with you my only example throughout my entire career of 6 months. Okay,
Right.
then obviously cannot lah. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But that one easily solved because we are in trainer synergy. What? There are 235 people, so if you only 3 months old, then go and get someone with 3 years old lah. Right,
Yeah.
easy lah, easy. Yeah, that's what trainer synergy is for. That's why I couple you what.
Right.
So that's the WSQ.
So that's the WSQ. Okay. Whereas a non-WSQ, your company need to be registered as well. All right. So.
So either sole prop or private limited lah. Basically register with ICRA lah.
ECRA, it can be ROC, ROB, ROS.
Okay, not just
Yeah.
you yourself create a website and say
No,
you're
no,
a
no,
company.
no.
Okay.
No. Okay, you must be registered, proper registered. So there's accountability. You see, yeah. Then for non-WSQ, we need to submit your latest NOA to prove that you are active business, training activities and experience. Whether are you really into the training business or
Or to just get some grant money. Yes, I
Yeah.
understand. We've seen a lot in Straits Times.
Right.
Yeah, naughty are you?
Okay, training facilities as well, the same reason. And like I say, qualified adult educators from 1st January on 2021 onwards. If your course is a non-WSQ certifiable course, then you need to follow the ACTA and the ACLP requirement.
Okay. So okay, back to my company lah. So it's been 5 years old, and the financial statement can show losses, one, right? Doesn't have to show profit.
We have to prove our financially sound.
Oh, okay, okay.
Must
So
we
3
have
years of
the-
losses cannot lah.
Yeah, we must show that we are financially healthy. So yeah.
Okay, got it. You answered my question. Okay, let's assume I'm 3 years financially healthy,
Yes.
and I can prove all these, and then I actually submitted already. How long later will I get to know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually for the OA application, let's say processing time lah. We don't talk about our preparation. It
yes.
depends on how fast we can do it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Officially, SSG website says that it's about 20 working days.
Oh,
But because of there's growing
Demand.
of becoming ATO, so we
now
need
it's 20
to
years.
so we need to give and take the processing time a little bit more for the officer to process. So it may take up to maybe 1 to 2 months, and it's not surprise. Yeah.
Very fast already in the grand
That's
scheme of
considered
things.
fast lah,
And that's
huh?
pre-COVID-19. Now everybody work from home. I think it's 20 years. Yeah.
Okay. So
And then you already applied, right? How long did y'all take? 1 year?
for what our ATO?
Yeah, your own ATO.
Okay. I attained my ATO within 3 months.
Oh, not bad, not
Okay.
bad.
It's because I know the requirement.
Yeah.
So instead of just ding ding dong dong, a lot of time the processing time take very long is because the ding dong.
Oh,
You know, you
like
submit, not sure what they
sentence not
want.
there, all that lah.
You submit, then the officer will return you to say that, oh, maybe I need this clarification. And then again, you submit, that take another 20 days.
Hey, do you all do such things?
Yeah.
Can people show you first?
Can.
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 Ah,
Can.
good.
Yeah.
Then copy later. Yeah, and after that?
Okay, so once the company is approved, all right, then you can go into the course development, which is the course accreditation. So that is where WSQ, then we need to develop the course according to the standards.
That's your job lah. I mean, if we hire you lah.
Yes,
Okay. Got
yes,
it.
all right. So once your company and your course is approved, then you can call yourself as an ATO and start to market your course.
Just now your 3 months include both part
No.
1 and part 2? No.
No. To get stage 1 and 2 approved, minimally will be 6 months.
Also 3 months stage 1, 3 months stage 2.
That is very fast already, 6 months.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody will be
So we
driving
must have
Grab by then.
a realistic timeline.
Okay.
Because some of my clients say, oh, Stephanie, next month I want to become an ATO. I was like, huh? No, it couldn't be. Yeah.
So generally, right, to become an ATO, you actually already been running your core business.
With people paying out of their own pocket lah.
Yeah, that means
Yeah.
you must already have your own kind of revenue.
Yes.
And it's just that you have the passion of training the adults with your knowledge and skill set.
Yep.
And that's where you really need that time
Okay.
to really be approved.
Right. So the substance is already there. Now it's just paperwork to prove your substance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if substance not there, then don't apply. Just run your substance for 3 years first.
Yes, right. Yes, right.
Very good. Okay. And then after that, what's stage 3?
Yeah. Then stage 3, you're already an ATO. So that is where you need to maintain your, because initially we talk about the system and capabilities, we
Yes.
talk about the SOP, right? So that is where now you add it up. The SOP is not meant
Audited
for
lah,
you.
audited lah.
Stage 3 roles and responsibility is during your day-to-day operation.
But the government not there, what? How do you know?
Because stage 4 it will come.
Oh,
Ah.
so stage 3 can like quickly like,
Oh,
everybody.
You see, a lot of time the audit, right, the officer will say that, okay, I want to see evidence. You say that you have done this, show me your
Oh.
evidence. You have
Like
done
photo?
that.
Survey
Yeah,
feedback forms,
records, your paperwork,
video
all this.
recording.
I mean, you need to show evidence. Yeah, so that is where you need to collect your evidence, all right, during your stage 3. So you cannot, maybe today I don't feel like doing this recording, I don't do, you know.
Oh,
It has to
it
be
must be
maintained.
standardized.
Yes.
So let's say I run 5 sessions, and each of the session I have to collect evidence lah. It cannot be just randomly say, okay, the middle one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your assessment record need to be complete properly. Your attendance need to be signed. Yeah, it cannot like forget to sign attendance. It cannot be that way. So all this have to be regular
Right.
and maintained. So
Okay.
that any time when there is an audit, you are always ready. Yeah.
And this lasts how long? 1 year? The
Um,
stage 3?
No, this one, okay, your course usually it will be approved based on either 1 year or 2 years renewal.
Right.
All right. So when let's say your course is going to expire, then that is where you can write in to request for extension.
This is stage 3, right?
This is stage 3. This is ongoing, I would say.
Okay.
Once your course is approved, depends on whether it's a 1 year validity or 2 years validity.
So for that full year, I have to just keep doing that based on
Yeah.
what I promised lah.
Yes, you
And
have to
then
deliver.
Near the end of my validity, I need to do what again?
Renew your course.
So do I go through the whole
Oh,
cycle?
no need, no need.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay,
you
okay.
just go to your course profile to request for renewal, and then upon the renewal, the officer will assess lah. I mean, you don't really have to submit a lot of documents like what you did previously.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's just that you must make sure you got to show that there is training going on. All right.
Do they have minimum, like for example, if the whole year I only ran 3 runs, right? And then let's say I only earn like 10,000, 15,000, then would they approve for the following year?
This is still not too bad. I've seen cases that actually throughout the whole year, they may not have run any course and any intakes. So that is where they will be questioned lah. Yeah, because if let's say the course is not taken, all right, there's no sign up, then usually the SFG will not
So they
want to
like
renew.
may have done marketing very horribly lah, and then
perhaps.
nobody sign up,
Yeah, perhaps.
and then
Yeah.
they probably won't be approved lah for the following year.
Because you can't show that there is a demand of your
Yes.
course. Yeah.
But if you run a few runs,
Yes.
but they have no fixed number, they
No.
didn't say must run 12 runs.
no,
or
no,
something.
no, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And each run can be like 5,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
no minimum number also, right?
No minimum, but preferably not more than 20 per session.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
because
there
of the trainer-trainees ratio.
Yes, makes
Yeah,
sense.
because we want to make sure that there's enough interactivity. Yeah,
Not more than 20, but not less than.
depends on whether how profit you are, whether you do one-to-one,
Oh,
is
that
it
one is
still
more the
profitable?
P&L already. It's
Yeah.
not really the
Yeah.
government standard.
Yeah.
Okay, got it, got it. So I can basically split up my 20 participants into the whole year lah. Two students per run.
You don't really see the number of runs lah. Maybe
Okay,
in
okay.
total how many you have
Right.
trained. Yeah.
As long as it's not zero lah.
Yes.
Yeah,
not
but
zero.
important is profitable for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that one
you have
okay,
to,
okay.
because in the end it might be a loss, you know.
I'm going to use your space for free. Yeah, so every dollar goes into my pocket and then I treat you to Lim Kopi. Oh, okay, settled. This one behind the camera. Hey, delete that one. Okay.
Alright.
Hey, step 4 was audit. I couldn't really see.
Yeah, that one audit. Okay, previously last time, every 2 years ATO will have to go through the CIR, we call it CIR, Continuous Improvement Review. But because of SSG want to streamline the process,
okay.
so they actually take away the CIR, but it doesn't mean that SSG don't do audit at all. Alright, but they have other means to audit. Yeah. So
Like they
instead of
put
every
bug in
2
your
years,
phone lah.
yeah. So we just have to be very alert that you know, anytime we need to comply to the SSG requirement.
I know already.
Yeah.
I know already. I read Straits Times. They got mystery shopper. Some people
So we must always you know, be very
participant
alert.
from
Yeah.
Singhu one. I know. Yeah. You can tell them one. They are the very serious one. No, I cannot tell. Okay.
Okay, so the audit wise, instead of having 2 years every once CIR, now is that they will have different ways of doing the audit. So maybe the officer will call you up to say that, oh, maybe they want to visit you, they want to do this check, or you just simply email the documents that they required to them. So there are different means, there are different ways.
Yeah, got drone also nowadays. Very dangerous. When I bathe, I must pull the curtain now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is so now I understand the criteria. And then I understand the process. Okay, and then now this is the actual step by step, is it?
No, this is this one will be the non-W. Just now we talked about the WSQ. This is a non-WSQ. All right. So non-WSQ saying you need to get your company approved first, get your company profile approved. Then after that, you will submit your course. Yeah. So in this case, your course need not to follow the skill standard, but it
There's
has
no
to be.
days required lah. for
Yes,
this.
correct. Yeah. So, but then your course need to have relevance to the industry lah. Yeah. So
Okay.
according to what the industry demand, all right.
Right.
And after that, you can apply for your course funding.
And this application is a one-time application, or every time I run, I have to
Right. So for the company profile, is a one-time per organization.
Okay.
But for the course, it is on a per course basis.
So let's say my company has 5 different courses, you know, negotiation, sales, leadership, and so on. So I have to apply 5 times.
One-time company profile, 5-time courses.
Okay, so let's say I apply all 5 already, and it took, let's say, 6 months, and now I'm approved. And then each time I run, no need anymore, right? It's been approved, so
Approved,
for
then
1
you
whole
just
year,
run,
it's just run.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if I have the same company but the 6 course, let's say
Apply
I now
again
teach
lah.
coding, so apply
Apply
again.
the coding course.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
All right.
And each time I apply, need to pay money.
Yes, of course.
Oh.
Because the officer need to process
I know. That's
your
why it's called
application.
CAP. What?
All right.
I support. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Got it, got it. And how much are we talking about? Like $20 kind or $200 kind?
It depends on whether you are applying for WSQ or non-WSQ.
So
Alright,
the
because
WSQ
WSQ are more tedious, a lot of things to vet through, to review, so it's
Okay.
more expensive.
4 figure.
No, 3 figure.
Oh, okay lah.
Yeah, okay lah.
Then non-WSQ also 3 figure.
Non-WSQ, 2 figure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why cannot I pay right now?
For company profile is I think $20 odd. Alright, for the company profile. For non-WSQ, for the course is $100 plus GST is 107.
Okay, easy lah. Just a few Starbucks. Easy. Not sponsored by Starbucks. Okay. Any other application we need to know?
Okay, that's the application process.
That's it already lah for application. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, since you have the experience, I would like to ask, what problems did you all face, have or not, personally, while going through the process?
my client face.
Your client, okay, your client.
All right. So usually the most common issue that the clients will face is that perhaps the financial health you need to justify, because a lot of time maybe you are trying to break even, yeah. So that is where we need to justify.
You need to like pay the PwC to come on, right?
Oh, no need,
It's
no
just
need
your
audit.
own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
your own P&L, your own financial statement.
it's very easy to change the number.
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying that I want to change the number. I'm just saying it's easy to change the number. Okay.
No, I don't say that.
So next topic.
All right. So firstly is to justify your financial health. All right. There are many ways to justify. Secondly is that a lot of the clients may lack the expertise to develop the system, because first of all they also don't know what system is that. So how to develop the system?
This is more operational system, right? For
The
example,
SOP
I have the leadership expertise, but I don't have expertise.
Oh no. The training system.
The training system.
As in like the operational system.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
Let's say
how
for
to-
example, how to if there's appeal cases, how do you go and handle it?
Oh.
If there is
customer service, is it part of the system? That means when they call in,
yeah,
who's answering?
registration, inquiry, not just that, not just the administration, but also in terms of how you recruit your trainers,
Oh.
how do you recruit your courseware developers, what criteria to base on, how do you evaluate the outcome of your training.
Oh.
So there are different systems.
So
that
like
we
the
need to-
post-course survey form, for example,
Ah.
if it's very textured, very,
Yeah.
then it pass lah. If you just ask, do you like it? Yes, okay.
Ah.
Then fail lah.
Yeah, so there are even the course evaluation, there will be certain areas that we need to cover.
Oh.
The course material, the trainer,
Methodology,
the logistics,
relevance,
things
everything.
like that.
Okay, okay.
Okay. And another potential problem is the inadequate training facilities.
This one I don't really understand. Nowadays it's very easy. Like for example, I go to Holiday Inn Orchard and just pay them, right? How difficult is this? Why would people struggle with this?
For soft skill classroom based is pretty straightforward, but some technical skills will
Like
be
computer,
quite.
not enough.
If you want to do computer related courses, then perhaps you may also need to provide the computers, the computer lab.
So if let's say I ask them, hey, bring your own iPad, then it's not very professional lah. Is it?
Some training organized, it depends on what kind of courses. Some courses they may say, learners, you can actually bring your own computer
That's
along
still
the
okay
laptop.
lah.
Yeah.
So that's not
Yeah.
considered inadequate, right?
It depends on what kind of courses are. But if you are running let's
Photoshop, for
say,
example, then you need all the proper system to have Photoshop pre-downloaded lah.
yeah, then whether you know the software, is it paid software, free software? Yeah, and you know, if the person comes sign up for your course, do they also expected to buy the software? So these are the considerating factors that you need
So
to take in
if
place.
you say on top of your course fee, you still need to pay for software,
Yeah.
maybe that's considered inadequate lah. Is it?
Yeah, because for learners, they may say, I spent $300 to sign up for your course, but yet you need me to pay $500 for the software. Yeah, so all this must be upfront, you know,
that's true, that's
inform your potential learners.
Upselling.
Like even for us, right,
Yes.
when we teach media,
Yes.
will be questioned like, do you have sufficient cameras?
Usually no lah.
Ah.
Sorry. Do you have
Yes, as
sufficient
a
camera?
training
So let's say
provider.
you have 20 learner, you should have 20 cameras, is it?
So it depends again how
you work the
how you
curriculum
structure
lah.
it.
So it could be pair work.
Could be pair
then you
work,
only
then in that
need
case
10
any
lah.
10. So from there we justify. So
Very good.
that's how we deem whether we have sufficient some kind of equipment or infrastructure to support
But
the
is it
learning.
guesswork? Like for example, right now, because you're already ATO, but let's say you're not ATO, how would you know whether 5 camera is correct or 10 is correct or 15 is correct? How to know? Is it like
No, so that is where during our application or maybe during the course submission, one of the question asked is that, okay, what is your proposed trainer, what is your proposed class size?
oh okay.
Yeah, so it depends on your space. So let's say for example our space we can take 20. So we say that our maximum class size is 20.
Okay.
But some space is rather small. They only have a room of 6.
Right.
So I cannot say that with the room of 6 persons capacity, I'm saying that my class size is 20.
Got it.
Yeah. So it depends on your facility.
So let's say it is 20. Can I? Okay, because one of my specialty is to save money. So somebody said, hey, I got not enough capital to buy 10 cameras, so I cannot do pair work. I said, never mind lah, group them into group of 5 lah. then one camera for 5. Like, am I going to be disapproved?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Okay, because 5 shared one camera, for
Yeah.
example, what is the chance of me operating the camera?
You know how many civil servants it takes to fix a light bulb?
So this is all about justification. You know, if you want a person to know how to operate this equipment, and you like 5 of them sharing one equipment, then whether they have enough time for them to practice. If you have enough time for everyone to practice, then okay, not too bad. But you only have like 10 minutes, and 5 of them standing in front of the camera, maybe everyone got only 1-2 minutes. I think maybe they don't have enough time. Yeah.
That's true, that's true. Okay, very
Okay.
good point, very good point.
Right? And the last potential problems may be insufficient qualified adult educators.
You're talking about ratio, is it?
I'm talking about some company, they may only have like
Associate trainer.
one qualified trainers. Okay.
Very easy to find ACTA trainer now.
Oh yes, yes,
You
yes.
got 235 people in
Not just
trainer
ACTA
synergy,
trainer,
yeah.
but ACTA with qualification
In
and
that subject
experience.
matter.
Yes,
That's
that's
right.
right. Yeah. So let's say for example business skills, right? It's easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, because there's really a lot of
Yes.
experience, business related topic kind of trainers,
That's
right?
Yeah.
But very technical skill may be difficult.
Like Six Sigma, Black Belt, this kind of thing lah.
Some
Or
very
lean
technical is really
processing,
difficult.
Agile,
Yeah.
and then you need to make sure you were, let's say, working for Oracle before or Microsoft for 3 years or more lah.
Yeah. So I have experienced that I have a client want to go into healthcare.
Oh,
And healthcare ACTA, the population size is definitely smaller than let's say a business course.
that's true, that's true.
ACTA trainer. Yeah.
Nowadays got a lot of mental health expert. You notice, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I have a friend who wants to be a mental health trainer and got ACTA. Then how to verify that she has mental health related experience? You get me? She can say,
Qualification?
oh, so like other than ACTA, maybe diploma in
Yeah, you
psychology or
you
something
maybe
lah.
have your diploma in that related field, your degree in that related field, that is one
Okay.
way.
Right.
And also your working experience.
Yeah, case
Through your
record,
CV.
all this.
Case
Yeah.
records.
That's right.
So I cannot just say I was mentally sane for 3 years.
First-hand experience.
Okay, I wanted to apply actually.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Wow, you cover a lot of area already.
Yeah.
Let me see, what else? Very good. This one very important. So you know I'm very lazy one. Yeah, you tell me so many things, I got headache already. So can I just like engage you? Wow, then settle already. Can.
That is what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Very good. Wow, 心有灵犀一点通.
Right.
So I can just engage you lah. Then
Yes,
everything you just taught me, I can forget already lah.
No,
I
no,
just
no,
have to
no,
pay
no,
money,
no,
no?
no,
No.
don't forget. Don't forget. Okay. I used to help my clients to manage the whole project. That means they come and look for me, Stephanie, I want to become ATO.
Yes.
I help them to put up the application,
Oh, okay.
submission,
Yes.
to help them to handle all the clarification, things
Yes.
like that. And after that, I will do a training to hand over.
Oh, okay.
But then I
good.
realized that a lot of time, SSG actually would like to also speak to the company representative.
Or not just to you lah.
Not just to me.
Oh, okay, got
And
it,
in
got
fact, they want to speak to the company representative.
Got it.
So if everything is managed by me, just me,
Yeah.
all right, and clients not involved,
Yeah.
so when the SSG officer call the company representative, they said, I don't know everything. So
This
that
is
is
young.
also a problem. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So usually for now, I try to involve my clients as well.
Partnership lah. Partnership.
Yeah, so there are different ways lah. So it's either I can work together. I
Right.
provide the relevant training to them. Yeah.
So that I know how to answer the question.
Yeah,
of
you
the
know
person.
what exactly is going on this whole application process. So
Okay,
all this
okay.
training will be
So along the way,
covered.
like you keep me updated, correct? Okay. And how much are we talking about? Is it 2 digit, 3 digit, 4 digit, 5 digit?
All right.
Yeah.
So a lot of my clients will say that, hey Stephanie, for this kind of application to become ATO, is there
Yes.
any funding or not?
Yes.
I think that is very good
Wow,
question,
very
right?
good
Wow, got
question.
funding or not?
Very good question.
Okay. Personally, I felt there's no funding for becoming an ATO.
Don't have.
But over the years, from my experience, I try to think of something to help them.
Wow, very good.
All right.
So what's the funding now?
Okay.
Mop your floor.
Not my fault, no lah. Okay. So actually, I have developed a WSQ course
Oh, okay.
meant for potential ATOs or ATOs.
Ah,
Yeah.
good
So
idea.
during the training
Yes.
itself, because it's WSQ, so it's 90% funded with S&T payroll and things like that, right? So during the 3-day course, we will go through the whole process.
Yes.
We will work together to sort out the application.
So I should come ready with the actual, like, for example, financial statements, is it? The training that I go through, and I should at least have been running my company for 3 years lah.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Yeah.
Very smart eh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this
very
is the
smart.
best way I help my client to save costs.
So in the end, I apply as a Singaporean, right?
Yeah.
And then I
You
get
can use a company
95%.
to sponsor you.
Yes.
It's 90%.
And that's approved already. That cost that
My
you just
course is
mentioned.
approved. Yes.
That's
I have been
genius.
doing that, you know, with many of my clients,
Right.
and they
And
love it lah
is
because
there
they
a
don't
class
really
size?
have to pay for.
Class size
Class size minimum 6.
can be like 6 employees from me or
Yes, 6
10?
employees. Usually I would do company based. That means I will not mix company because when during the 3 days, right, we will talk about sensitive information.
Like my numbers, for example.
Yeah, so I don't think you feel very comfortable to share your information with another training
Yeah, yeah.
organization.
Oh, company earn too much, you know. Other company will be very envious. I cannot review.
Yeah. So usually for my training, it will be just one company.
Got it,
So
got
the
it.
company may
So it
have
could be
like
just one person, for example. Still okay, right?
minimum, I would say 4 to 6. Minimum 6 lah. Because during the 3-day training, we're going to develop all the system. So there will be 6 systems that we need to develop.
You can't do it alone.
Oh,
Yeah,
so I
each
should bring my
one of
CTO,
you-
COO,
Yeah.
CMO, CTO, all the O's ah.
Yeah. So each of you will in charge of one area. So by the end of 3 days, we will have everything out.
Got it, got it.
Yeah.
Good idea, good idea. And they are not full-time employees, fine lah, right? That means
Must be
everyone
your employee lah.
associate level cannot.
Then let's say for example, if they're associate,
Yup.
then they will sign up as their own, but they still work for you.
Yes, yes,
The,
yes.
the whole
for certain
training.
projects
the-
at least for this ATO lah.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Because this is like the Grab model nowadays. Everybody does that, right? F&B does that, training does that. That's why training synergy is for. That one is fine, right? It's not illegal, right? Or like government must see that it's employee,
No,
CPF.
okay. So
and all
again,
that.
you see, if let's say for example your learners is under your company payroll, then
Yes.
that is very obvious. It will be under company
That one is
sponsor,
obvious, yes.
right? So let's say for example you are working with some associates
Yes.
who wants to work with you to become an ATO,
Yeah, right.
all right? So they are not in your payroll yet.
Yes.
So what I would suggest is that they will go under individual sign up. They sign up as individual
Okay.
because 40 years and above they also get 90%. Mah.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, so they sign up as individual. But what I'm trying to say is that the 6 of you will be doing for your company.
Okay, got it, got it. So they are not signing as part of my company.
Yeah.
But if they are below 40, very difficult already lah.
Actually, for below 40, right, if they have PSEA, PSEA stands for Post-Secondary Education
Accredit-
PSEA account. Yeah,
Accounts.
correct.
What
yeah.
was that?
PSEA is that, okay, so during our school days, we actually have EduSave, right? So
Okay.
EduSave, after we have completed our tertiary, we enter into the workforce, and our EduSave will go into this PSEA account.
Okay.
So if you are 35 years and below, and your PSEA account still have balance, you can actually tap on those funds to use it for WSQ courses.
Need to apply.
It's pretty straightforward lah. The
Oh.
ATOs will be able to help. So you just fill out a form.
okay,
It's just like
okay.
SkillsFuture credit, right? The SkillsFuture credit is meant for 25 years and above Singaporean,
Yes.
right? It's in the account. You
Yes.
can't withdraw,
Yes.
right? So this PSEA is that the EduSave will go into your PSEA account after you have finished your tertiary education and you go to the workforce. So you need to use it before 35 years old.
Oh, I see.
If you don't use it, it will go into your OA account.
Oh.
Then you will wait until your
Right, yeah. Very old lah.
very old, then you withdraw lah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, okay, I understand now. So above 40, very straightforward. The person doesn't have to be my employee. Just apply, same grant anyway, right?
90%.
And then below 40, then do that PSI thing, right? Sounds like, yeah, sounds like PSI. And then after that, as a company director, then I apply, and then maybe bring 1 or 2 associate trainers along, and then I say you take charge of technology, you take charge of paperwork or something like that lah.
Yeah. every one of you were in charge of one area lah. So we will meet all the requirements by the end of 3 days.
Okay, how many
so this is
areas
very
are there,
efficient.
basically? Let's say if I want to sign up for your course today, then I have to think of 6 people, right?
Yes.
So that's the technology,
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
It's not the technology marketing part.
No,
No,
okay.
no.
What
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
more on the system, the training delivery system. We talk about how do you ensure your training
recruitment.
recruitment.
Okay, recruitment. Marketing? Definitely need what? Marketing. If not, how to get learners? No. Yes.
Marketing is not part of the system,
Oh, sorry,
but we can
okay.
discuss.
Oh,
So
yeah.
during the training itself, not just the system, but we also share with all the do and don'ts. All right. If you want to work with partners, associates, what are the things that you need to look out for?
Okay.
When we want to do marketing for SSG courses, what are the do and don'ts as well? What are all the different platforms that we can go to? We will cover a lot of things during the 3 days. Yeah.
But okay, back to just system alone. So I need someone to do the what are the pre-course, post-course survey,
Yeah.
right?
Not just that. Okay,
okay.
maybe I'll just
Yeah,
summarize
yeah.
a little bit.
Okay.
So we will be covering things like, for example, how do you ensure your training delivery to meet the system, the standards? Your course material. How do you review, your course material? Your recruitment of your adult educators. All right. Your administrative issue.
Like calling, customer
Yeah, all your
surveys,
registration, your
processing
appeal
of
causes.
invoices.
Then we talk about refunds.
That one is also part of the same person.
The
administrative,
refunds, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Then we talk about the evaluation, the outcome evaluation.
outcome
Yeah.
evaluation.
Whether how good is your course, how does it benefit the industry? So there are different levels.
And facilities manager.
Huh?
Facilities manager, the person arrange chair, make
That's
sure aircon
logistic
turn
lah.
on.
That's
Logistic.
logistic.
Is
Yeah.
that part of the system?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's
So
about
there are
5 to 6
yeah,
already.
Yeah. So every one of you were in charge of one area. If you just like have 1 or 2 person, I think that will be very xiong and I don't think we can complete within 3 days. So usually my recommendation is that 6 person and 1 person in charge of one area, and by the end of 3 days, we should have all the paperwork out.
Oh, the end of 3 days already got paperwork out.
Yes.
And then can submit already.
Yes.
Then wait for 6 months later.
Yeah. So this is very fast, 3 days.
Wow.
If not right, then we may take about a month to prepare.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. This is like BMT lor. Just get. So we have to bring pillow, bolster, everything lah.
No need lah, no need lah.
9 to 6.
But I think what
9 to
quite
6, yeah.
important is Stephanie is trying to do is that to ensure that you have a full success
Of course, of course.
of
yeah, yeah.
really setting up ATO, but not just getting an ATO, but able to sustain
Yeah. So
running
it's
an ATO.
beyond ATO lah. You know,
Put it that
that
way.
means after you get the ATO already, how do you then succeed in your marketing?
And also give you a heads up of what you will be expecting.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, they thought that, to become an AT, because I'm already running training, what could it be so difficult for me?
Yeah.
I've been running training for like 10 years. Yeah. But I would say that for SSG, a little bit 麻烦it's because there's a lot of paperwork. Because a lot of evidence you need to keep track.
I find it's troublesome.
Troublesome, sorry, yeah. So a lot of paperwork. So we also don't want to give a culture shock to the team. Yeah, all the while I'm doing like that. Yeah, then once I become an ATO, then there's like double up the work.
Yes.
So we need to give the whole team a good idea what will be they be expecting, why they need to do this.
And it's not just one-time paperwork, right? That means
Yeah.
as an ongoing basis, the
Yes.
SOP will be more paperwork lah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mike, are you listening? This is my chief paperwork officer.
Yeah.
He's a lot more meticulous than me. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. There's one final slide, right? So basically, we need to prepare something, I'm sure.
Yeah, so
yeah.
usually a lot of people say, Stephanie, how to be a very good ATO, all right? So I say, firstly, you need to have your training system. And once you set up the SOP, you follow the SOP, because the SOP is not just paper and put aside in the cupboard. Yeah?
I hear this word a lot, training system.
Yeah, training system, all right? And secondly, to become a good ATO, you must also have your marketing readiness. This is what you say, your marketing.
Yes, marketing.
Yeah? A lot of us, we are very good trainers, we are specialists, but once comes to sales and marketing, we may not sure how, So we need to have a good system, to have a good understanding of how we can market our course and market it correctly. Don't post words that is not supposed to post.
Right.
Like say free, this is not
like
free.
guaranteed to double your
Yeah,
sales.
so these are the things we need to take note when we do our marketing. and we need to have a good, preferably we will have a good operational system. That means we try to not manually. If you go do manually, it takes out a lot of time. So that is where I also will help the ATOs to let them see how they can implement all this automation. But that will be one step at a time.
Wow, automation.
Yeah, one step at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time to get rid of my stuff.
No, it's not to get rid of your stuff. It's just to make things more efficient. Yeah.
Got it. And online presence is what? Facebook lah, website lah.
Yeah, your social media marketing.
Okay.
But social media marketing, then what do you post? Yeah. What kind of information and how? Which platform is best for my target audience? So these are the things we
all
need
this
to
will
know.
get a pipeline of clients lah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we keep mentioning Singaporean. Non-Singaporean how? Have to eat grass lah, basically, right? Do you all have grass here?
Okay, so one good thing is that if you are company sponsor and if your staff is permanent residents,
Okay.
all right, so they are still qualified for the funding.
So they are treated
SPR.
like citizens.
Citizens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
But let's say, for example, your staff is under EP work permit, then there's no
So
funding.
basically, this whole talk not relevant to them lah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if they get a director who is Singaporean, can or not? That means I have a foreigner friend and he wants to make it big in training. So now he makes me a director. Not that it has happened,
No, what?
but
Like you are asking me in terms of the learners, what kind of learners?
As a training
will-
company.
Training
to become
company.
ATO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A training company doesn't matter your shareholders whether is it Singaporean or not. It doesn't matter as long as your company need to be registered locally.
So they don't care about the directors lah.
At least 30% local shareholder.
At least 30%.
Yeah. So that is the ACRA.
So let's say I'm a Singaporean, obviously. So I bring in 2 foreigners. They can still come for your course, for example, right? No.
Okay, now you're asking me two different questions.
2 different questions.
Yeah.
Awareness and training for
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, as a ATO wannabe, it
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Yes.
Okay, but now because I to come to your course, I'm a learner now.
Yes.
Then these 2 have to sit at home and wash my toilet. I can't learn already, then I can't tell them lah, because there's no way on earth I'm going to pay full price for them.
That's right.
Okay, got it. I know already. I just borrow a camera, record the whole thing, and then we stream for them to watch. Okay.
You let me know lah. I think of something for you.
Okay, good. Okay, I think we have covered a lot of grounds. Where we are left with about half an hour, and I'm very sure they have a lot of questions. Okay, so shall we open it up to questions? This is Zoom, right? How does it work? So whoever has questions, can they unmute themselves or cannot? Can or cannot? Like, actually, I cannot see anybody's face. I think most people hide their face because they are sitting on the toilet bowl.
See whether Mike able to facilitate and
You see, Mike is sitting on the toilet bowl. That's why. Okay, sorry. Okay. Just to prove me wrong. Hey, Mike, cannot hear you. Okay, we got good, very good.
okay, we can see can up the volume a bit.
Cannot hear you. Oh, there. Okay. Okay, so let's have questions. Come, challenge us. Who will be first? Okay.
Yes, there is a cap. For WSQ, it also depends on whether the WSQ course is meant for rank and file or PMT. So that is the difference. So let's say rank and file, it meant for the operation staff. So for the funding, it's actually capped at $26 per hour. Whereas for PMET, the managerial level kind of courses, it will be capped at $50 per hour.
50.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So it's 90% capped at 50 or 90% capped at 26. If I remember correctly, there's a different. If I remember correctly, it should be 26 and 50. Depends on the type of course that is approved.
Okay, good question.
Yeah.
Come on, keep it rolling, man. Any more good questions? Hey, Mike. Hi, Agnes.
Hello.
Hey, fine.
Hey, how about me? Hello. Okay. If not, I'm going to cut off your call already. Yes.
I don't understand your question. Can an existing ATO apply for?
No. Can an aspiring ATO
Potential ATO.
apply for ATO status without any specific program?
So your question is, can a potential ATO apply to become an ATO without having the courseware ready? Is it? During your OA application, you may already need to identify which framework or what type of courses you want to do. Yeah, you may not need to have the courseware ready, but you need to identify which area you want to apply for.
How detailed is the area? Can I just say leadership, or they need to see specific?
You may need to propose, like, say, what are the courses that you want to do. Because let's say, for example, one framework itself, it can have subcategories,
Yep.
and each categories will have like 10, 20 courses.
Oh.
So it's very huge. So
Okay,
you cannot
okay.
say that, oh, I want to apply for retail. But retail, within retail itself, there may have also many categories. So you need to identify what are the potential courses that you want to do. Preferably about maybe 4 to 6 courses.
So you can go to SSG website, for example, and
Yeah.
see how they break it down.
Yes.
Draw some
Yeah.
inspiration from there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Agnes. Before what?
I think her question is how much to apply to become, how much to pay for the application fee, is it? Okay, so for the OA per application is 500 plus GST. For the course is 600 plus GST. So to become an ATO, the OA you apply for one time, so which is 500. So if you want to apply for 2 courses, then you got to submit 2 CA, which is 600 each. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Six months. So once you apply your OA, once you approve your OA, within 6 months you need to submit your CA. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I just recap again. So once we apply our OA, officially it takes 20 working days to process, all right? I would not say approve, I say process, because usually from my experience, the approval will take about 1-2 months. That's minimum for OA. So once your OA is approved, then you can submit your CA, which is your course accreditation. So within 6 months from your approval from your OA, you need to submit your CA. All right. So once you submit your CA, then again it will take about 30 working days. Officially it says 13 working days, but again you give them about 2 to 3 months to approve. So all in all, you will take at least 6 months to get yourself up to become an ATO. Then you can start to market your course.
Oh, very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Right?
Okay. Does that answer your question? Very good. We can always trust you to ask good questions. Hey, wait, can give other people a chance already. Give other people a chance. Yeah, because there are about 24 trainers here. Okay, who else? Or you can type in your question also. Yes, the most handsome man in this call. I wanted you to say that. Not into my trap. Okay, yes.
Okay, first question, because you are not employed, you did not pay yourself a salary, so you do not have a CPF contribution, so you can't qualify for company sponsor. but you can register under self-sponsor. All right, so as long as you are Singapore citizen above 40 years, you get the same funding 90%. Okay, but because of this, you cannot tap on the absentee payroll because absentee payroll is meant for employer. Yeah, you can only tap on the training grant, but not absentee payroll.
ATO lah.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so basically, if you want to become a WSQ ATO, you need to provide 3 years of financial statement. If you want to be a non-WSQ provider, you just need to have 2 years. Yes. Yes. You are asking me whether within 6 months your course will approve or not, is that right? Minimum, if you are saying that starting from scratch, starting from OA application, that means to get your company approved, then your course approved, that is minimum 6 months. Minimum is 6 months, yeah. And to answer your second question, yes, you can do multiple course submission. But usually I will not suggest more than 3 at one time. Yeah, not more than 3. So usually 2, yeah, not more than 3. Because 3, firstly, because you are new ATO, all right, so they wouldn't want to approve you too many courses at one time because they don't know whether you can cope or not. Yeah, so my experience is that usually I do 2, 3 is the max that I will go, never more than 3 at one time, yeah. Now you are saying what type of funds?
Oh, you are assuming it's already approved ATO.
So you are a trainer, you are saying that you are a trainee, is it?
No, no, you're talking about as a training company, right?
Okay, all right. So let's say, for example, now I take myself as an example. I'm an ATO, all right? So let's say, for example, you come for my course, right? So before you come for my course, you will already apply for the training grant application, okay? You submit that, this training grant application, it can be 30 days before your course start date, all right? So you apply already, you come for the course, you take up my course, you meet your 75% attendance, you go for the assessment, and you got yourself competent. All right? So then you will be eligible for the training grant. So I just want to make clear is that even though government says that they will provide 90%, up to 90% funding, but there is also a requirement. The criteria is that the learners need to meet at least 75% attendance. And this person need to sit the assessment and get yourself a competent result. All right. So if any of these criteria doesn't meet, so let's say, for example, this person only come for 50% attendance, or this person got an NYC, all right, so there will be no training grant. All right, there were no training grant given. So during our application, we need to be very specific and tell the trainees that, okay, this is the 2 criteria you need to fulfill. All right, so let's say, for example, they fulfill these 2 criteria, they are eligible for the training grant. So about within a month or so, all right, the government will disperse. But again, this is the official processing time, all right? Because there's a lot of submission, training grant submission, it may take long as well. So there will be also cases that they drag to 2-3 months. It also depends on the ATO, how soon you submit the ad hoc claim. Because as an ATO, you need to submit the claim. As an ATO, you need to submit the assessment result. So whether your paperwork, have you complete your paperwork effectively and efficiently? That also affect your processing time as well. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Right.
Thank
Okay.
you. Next question, come on. Keep it rolling. Or Mike, is there any question that people type out? We can't really read here. By the way, good. Hello?
Yes,
Hi,
good
good
evening.
evening.
Okay, so I'm hearing you is that you have the experience and expertise in your trade, all right? You also have ACTA qualification. It's just that you do not have training experience. Is that right? Yeah. Then get yourself started first. Run a few training courses before your application. That will help. Yeah. All right? Because during the application, you need to show proof your training activities and experience. So run 1 or 2 sessions, you know, and get some evidence, right? Feedback. Yeah. Then after that, we can go through the application. Yeah.
More questions. Rick, you can see your face or not?
In pajamas already.
Don't know with how many girls now. Prim and proper, very good, yes.
Okay, first question is that, just now you were saying that you are doing some procurement courses, is it? Courses related to procurement. Okay, and you apply for non-WSQ. Okay, I will manage this later. I'll talk about your financial statement one first, yeah? Okay, if you apply this 5 years ago, all right, even with your negative P&L, or barely break-even P&L, as long as we are able to justify your financial health, they may still take it, all right? But recently, over the past 1-2 years, they are very, very stringent, okay? They already make it a mandate to say that if your previous year is a negative, most probably, very high chance you got rejected. Okay, so this is something they have tightened their regulation the past 1-2 years. So with this, right, even though we say that we may have $1 million in our personal bank account, it still doesn't help. Yeah, they want to see that the company is actually financially healthy, and one of the ways is to look at your P&L or your NOA. So back to your question is that usually I will advise my clients, if you want to have this plan to become a approved training organization with SSG, then we try our best to make our company profitable, all right? Because there is a lot of reasons you know, behind this, just now, you know, yeah, there's a lot of reasons, okay, you understand what I mean, yeah, okay, so we try to make it profitable because this is a requirement for now, yeah, okay.
It's
so
non-audited. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So back to your procurement, actually procurement, if I remember correctly, it should be under WSQ. There is certain, it's just that we need to find the right framework, yeah. But I must also understand your procurement in what type of content, because procurement may be still wide, you see. But procurement sounds to me it should be under the framework. Yeah. Yeah.
Come for the course, come for the course. Then you can ask a lot of questions. Okay, next one.
Okay.
Hey, might anyone ask question through words? Can you read out for us if you are not on the toilet bowl? Okay, come ask. Is it written?
Too shy.
No, is it written or not written? Okay, now mind. If there's other questions, oh, when is the next course? When is the course?
You mean for my course for the WSQ training, is it?
ATO one.
The ATO one, is
Yes.
it? Actually, because I don't do public, so I do not have a fixed date. So usually it's by demand. So the company will have to tell me, hey Stephanie, I'm interested. Then we will work together to find a suitable dates.
And the venue is here, is it?
It can be in the client's office if you have space.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so because this is contextualized to your company,
Yes,
so
yes.
I can actually go to your company. I need not to be here. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, they contact you lah after this.
Yeah, can.
And how do they contact you? Where's the? Is there?
Look at the link. No lah.
Is there a link? Let me sell. What's the phone number? Okay, later we will post it lah.
Post the contact,
That should be
yeah.
easy. On
Okay,
your
contact
WhatsApp
through me
group
lah.
contact through me. It's in Trainer Synergy.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question?
You have not trained before, but you have all the trainer qualification. On paper, you are qualified, all right? Yeah, on paper, you are qualified. It's just that if you want to do training, I would suggest that you still need to, you know, if you want to apply for WSQ or non-WSQ, it's good to reflect that you do have training experience. But if not, right, based on your qualification, working experience, you can still do your submission to update your CV accordingly to say that, okay, actually I have a lot of working experience in this area, I have a certain kind of qualification, and perhaps you may do your in-house training. In-house training is actually considered a kind of training. It need not to be a training for the public. Yeah, so a lot of times when during our working experience, right, we do give training to our colleagues, we give trainings to our newcomers. So these are the kind of training experience that you can actually indicate in your CV as well. Yeah, so this is find ways to prove that you actually do have training experience.
But it's not ATO lah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it's loud and clear. Yeah. You sounds okay, sounds good, yeah. Yeah. Financial statement, I mean, good financial health statement. Yeah. Uh, I wouldn't know how you want to prepare your P&L, okay? But generally, when we want to prove our financial health, we will provide our P&L to show the net profit after tax figure. All right, so that figure, preferably, it has to be not a $100 profit. That would not consider a profit. I have also encountered someone have given a $1,000 profit. So, though it meet the requirement to say that this is not negative, it's positive, but yet, you know, if it's a $300 profit, I'm not sure whether is that justifiable that this is financially healthy. Yeah, and but you must also meet the SSG requirement lah. They are the one who give you the final say. Yeah. Let's say, for example, if your financial statement is positive, all right, not negative, because once negative, it don't meet the criteria. So if it's positive, but it's not... I won't answer this question because I will not support, you know, like that. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to have a good financial statement. Yeah. So up to you to decide how you want to, how to prepare lah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, we still have 10 more minutes. There are other trainers, right? Any other trainer have not asked question? We want to be fair to everyone. Any other trainer have not asked question? Feel free to ask. It's very rare that we have Stephanie here today. Yep. Okay. Which are? David, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself and ask? Yes.
Okay. Be it WSQ or non-WSQ application, the previous year P&L has to be positive. Okay, this is for both WSQ and non-WSQ. So that's your first question, right?
Yes. Also, do you conduct the non-ATO route? Because it seems to me maybe I didn't understand you are doing the ATO route, right?
I also do the non-WSQ. Are you saying that non-ATO means the non-WSQ? Huh?
Non-WSQ.
Yeah, non-WSQ.
Non-WSQ, yeah, usually ATO refer to WSQ. Yeah. You will be you still need to be approved by the SSG. All right, it's just that the approval for your application for your company profile, right, for a WSQ ATO and a non-WSQ ATO is different. But still, your company need to be approved by SSG. It's just that for the WSQ route, it will be more stringent. There will be more things that you will be looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is actually doing non-WSQ program.
Yes. Yeah, minimally 5 figure. I don't think 4 figure will be attractive enough. Minimally 5 figure, I would say. Yeah. Yeah.
Can be ringgit lah.
Singapore PNL.
Okay, at least. Yeah. Okay, Malaysian one. Okay. Hey, any more? Quick. We're running out of time. I'm sure there are a few of you who haven't asked question. Or maybe Agnes, just now I cut you off. Oh, good. Hi. Stanley.
Yes.
Very clear.
Sorry, so
Future, $500. Can it
the
be
skill
used?
future credit you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, skill future credit can be used for WSQ and non-WSQ courses. Yeah, so your $500 can be used for that. So let's say, for example, non-WSQ, your cost is $300. So as long as this person has $300 credit left, they can use the full 300 for this payment. So let's say, for example, this person only left with 100 and your cost is 300. So they just make use of the 100, they top up cash for the 200. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
So which means technically if we go the least grant route, meaning that we are doing a non-WSQ and it's not certifiable, so we can give up to $2 per hour.
Yes.
And then on top, we can still use the skill.
No. The $2 per hour is meant for company sponsor. So for all the training, right, there's two types. So one type is company sponsor, the other type is self-sponsor. So Skill Future Credit is our personal money. It's our individual, because it's meant for Singaporean 25 years and above, right? So this is our own money. It's not company's money. So if the company sponsor you for the training, they cannot ask you to use your own Skill Future Credit to pay for it and then under the table pay you back the money. Cannot. Okay, Skill Future Credit is meant for individual. So if I sign up on my own, I can use my Skill Future Credit. If it's a company sponsor me, then I won't use my Skill Future Credit, but the company can only apply for $2 per hour. This is non-WSQ courses.
Per employee per hour.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, let's say we go for ourselves to be a true non-WSQ provider, and then we have a non-WSQ non-certifiable course, and then this course we will give it out to the public, and our course needs to help the industry, and this course can be self-sponsored. The public can use 100% of their skill future dollars.
Yes. Yes.
As long as we are within the system.
Yes. Yeah. But just do in mind that, you know, for SSG courses, be it WSQ or non-WSQ, although we allow the individual to sign up using your Skill Future Credit, but I would suggest to the training provider, try to market your course to companies as well. All right? Because SSG is looking for workforce. They want the employer to support your course. Because if no employer sign up for your course, that means there's no industrial demand. It's only for individual. All right? So I would say that don't 100% focus on individual. Maybe 20-30% still focus on company. Get your company to sign up. Yeah. So it shows that your course is industry relevance. Yeah, there's a demand for your course. Yeah.
Yeah, because I find that, you know, it's a catch-22 if we have no training experience, and at first we can't possibly get PTO approval. And so we can, you know, start small, use this kind of skill to
Yeah.
help us gain traction for 1-2 years before we go.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Mm.
And within the same course, you can have both company sponsored as well as a few public. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good question. Eric. Hey, show your face, Eric. We want to make sure it's not a terrorist. Okay, good. Yes.
Firstly, is your course in Singapore or overseas?
In Thailand, for example.
Your course, if it's in overseas, no, because the course has to be Singapore-based only. So the SSG support courses that conduct locally.
Even if it's for Singaporean traveling, still cannot.
Yeah, it has to be locally. Yeah.
Good question. Okay, we've run out of time. Anyway, we're going to share Roland's contact, and I'm sure tonight when you sleep, you will dream up more questions. Then you can ask Roland. And then Roland is still single and eligible, so you can. Okay, that's not true. You're married with kids, right? Yes. Okay, just delete that. Yeah. Okay. And by the way, so the course, just to double confirm, your course includes both ATO as well as if I want to be non-WSQ approved, also go for your course, or only ATO?
No, as long as you want to be a training organization, it will be good to understand the whole SSG requirement because it will apply to both. But of course, my focus was still more for the ATO because ATO has a lot of procedure need to follow.
Okay, anyway, the non-WSQ also has to be at least 2 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so ideally, 3 years. Okay, got it. Okay, another thing is, because now there's COVID-19, and I think a lot of you know Mike and I have already started Zoom training and all that. And I've been following Facebook, and I noticed still very, very few trainers have switched your training to online. So I think this space is amazing. This is my first time here. And can you provide some service so that trainers can come here and shoot their training curriculum?
Yeah.
Can, right?
Can, sure.
Do you have anything to say about that? So basically, you just turn up lah. They ding dong, then turn up, say, okay, Roland, I'm ready. I want to train. Yeah.
Again, actually, for our ATO, we actually offer WSQ training that actually can train trainers to produce their own training videos.
Oh, you're saying the same course?
It's a different one.
Oh, different.
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Also, there's a different course which will specifically train trainers
Yes.
how to use video facilities.
Of course, they would leverage on our
okay.
WSU course so
Also,
that
it's also the fundable, you're saying?
fundable, correct.
Wow, so everything we join here is fundable one. Wow,
That's
how many courses do you have, man?
That's how we want to support. Yes.
Wow, very good, very
And
good.
that means that at the end of our training program, WSU training program, you will actually get a set of instructional videos.
Oh.
All right, you'll
Okay.
get a set of instructional videos that you can use it for your own online learning, for you to monetize. What we're trying to say is that at the end, right, you will actually get a set of professionally done videos.
Okay, example again. So I want to convert all my offline negotiation, sales, leadership into online. So let's say I sign up for your course.
That's right.
Which, because I'm quite old already, I'm Singaporean, I get 95%. Oh, 90%, sorry, 90%. And then, by the end of the course, I will actually have the videos already. So it's not just come here, learn, then go back, have to do my own.
No.
Wow, I like this kind of lazy way of doing things.
So, but of course, at the end is all we need is for you to learn. In other words, you still need to learn.
Yeah. It's not just come here, go for kopi while you
That's
record
right.
video lah.
That's right.
Okay, so okay. Well, actually, it's very good.
Yeah,
and
so-
it's about what, 6 days? Is it something like that?
Yes, right.
Okay.
So basically, it's to leverage on our equipment because we have 15 cameras
Yeah.
and we have the
I can
studio
see
right
that
here.
with the very nice lights, and then your background got green, blue, white,
Yes, right.
all sorts of
Black,
background.
correct. So it really depends on the nature of your instructional video that you want to produce, and we can cater to that.
Definitely, they should come. I mean, we must assume they have already been running some programs.
That's right.
Don't come here and say, hey, what should I train?
That's right.
That's a waste of time.
That's right. That's a waste. You are right. Absolutely.
Okay, very good, very good.
That's
Yeah, definitely my company needs to look into that because only this year. Hey, by the way, my advice for all of you is use this COVID-19 as a chance to transform. Okay, because every crisis brings a lot of opportunity. I mean, that's such a cliche by now, but still, despite the cliche, a lot of you still never do anything about it. Still twiddling, you know, I seriously see a lot of people twiddling their thumb like, hey, when is this COVID-19 going to be over? I want to wait for my classroom training to start. Alamak, please, please. Don't wait for classroom training to start already. Do online training. If not this year, then when are you going to do classroom training? Okay, so anyway, this same guy again. So there will be 2 courses that he is offering, basically. One for ATO, one for conversion of all these training
That's right.
materials
That's
into
right.
online. Okay, very good, very good.
One last question that's asked by quite a few is that can the courses be conducted over Zoom, like online?
Oh, they are afraid that you have virus lah. You
Okay, so what is important is,
Which course?
yeah.
Both.
For the ATO one or for the instructional video one?
one by one, say one by one. Okay, ATO. ATO can
Actually,
choose Zoom.
Zoom, right, we will just treat it as a classroom based. It's just that the classroom now is virtual classroom, okay? Because we still have the contact time. So we must understand that for WSQ course, right, the funding is depends on the contact time, the trainer contact time. So as long as we have the contact time, whether physically or virtually, as long as we are on, you can see me, I can see you, make sure that you are here and not like going link copy and then just leave the computer on, you know. So as long as we can make sure that all this is track. So actually we can do this, especially during this period of time, right? We try to have social distance, we try to not gather around, so it's possible. Yeah, through Zoom. Yeah.
How about the 6-day one?
Right. So for the 6-day training, right, if let's say we talk about planning.
planning.
Now planning itself, of course, is computer based. So what is important on our side is that, of course, through Zoom, we will do the recording. So this is to provide evidence that there is really a full-time engagement.
Yes.
So in case SSG were to ask, we have the evidence to show.
That's for the first 2 days.
Correct.
Okay, then the next 2
but
days?
for the next 2 days, when we talk about filming, then that's where we really need your
So
presence.
at least out of 6 days, 2 days they must come lah.
That's right.
Just make sure wear face masks, everything. I have a lot of boxes of face masks in my car, by the way. Free for you. Abundance. Okay. Yes.
Okay,
And
that's
then
good.
the
That's
last
good.
2 days.
Now, last 2 days editing. Now, for example, if let's say you are really not so strong in terms of computer,
Editing,
that means not
computer.
that IT savvy.
Yeah.
That's where our advice is that you come down here because then we can really guide you personally.
Yeah.
But if let's say you are IT savvy, you just need, you know how to maneuver around the computer, then actually this one can be done Zoom. Because I have control over your computer, and you can also watch over my computer.
You can control their computer.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
That's
So
what has
actually
been
Zoom
happening,
allow us to actually control. So in case, for example, some editing that they really couldn't execute, that's where they allow me to control their computer, and then from there, they can see how it can be done.
And then click on the bank account. All that. Oh, that's our real business. Okay, no, that's okay.
That's right.
Okay, so do you understand now? 2 different causes for 2 different purposes, but both bring a lot of money in this COVID-19, and is almost fully funded because it's 90%. But anyway, the 10% is how much? I mean, let's say, talk about my company, I sign up, then 10% is how much?
So let's say, for example, our training course,
Yes.
the 10% is 192.
Oh my God.
All right.
I just have to fast from Starbucks for 1 month.
Yeah. For the filming, for the instructional video, for the 6 days course, 90% funded, 10% is 318.
Oh, still very cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good.
If,
Super
if,
affordable.
if you talk about a set of videos that may cost about $5,000, $10,000, and you are just paying this amount.
It is definitely, I know
So,
the market
yes.
rate, so this is,
Okay, all right.
this is super low. Okay, but how does it work? So I have to first pay the full price, then reimburse, or I only pay the 10%?
For our course, we are net fee. Net fee meaning the learners only pay the 10%. The 90% we will claim from SSG. So you do not have to fork out the 100% first. You just pay for the net. Yeah.
I actually brought the $100+.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. I think, okay, so we're going to cut short already because it's already over time, and I'm going to show Roland's number, and then all of us should just quickly sign up because this is the perfect time to digitize everything and also to become an ATO, so that when after COVID-19 is over, we're all ready to roll, man. All the money, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching coming in. Okay? I think that's it. Are you going to sing a song or anything? If not, that's the end already. Mike, it's your turn to sing, and then everyone can start to leave. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially with my beach wear and my hairy leg. Hey, Yeah, quick. Show face. Andy Ang, show face. I think he went to the toilet. Okay, never mind lah. Wow, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, till the next Trainer Synergy. Bye-bye.